Today is the day when there's a great deal of hope as far as Indians are concerned. Covifor, that's the generic Indian brand of remdesivir, that seemed to be a drug with a great deal of promise in helping patients who are fairly critical with COVID, is now available in India, with 5 states having been sent the first batch. What exactly does this mean? And can more be done to ensure that plasma is available to those who need it the best? All of this, why? Because the numbers in India, let's face it, are spiraling upwards in a manner in which a lot of people would not have anticipated a few weeks back. That's what we're looking at today.
Made in India, Covifor, a generic version of the experimental COVID-19 drug remdesivir. It is being manufactured by Hetero Drugs, a Hyderabad-based company. The first vials have been sent to Maharashtra and Delhi, the 2 worst affected states, followed by Gujarat and Tamil Nadu.
The overall international data is showing that it will definitely help the patients. And it is coming out very, very clear. There is a huge demand for this product throughout the country, especially in the major metros of Delhi and Mumbai. The requirement is coming out huge.
A 100 milligram vial of the drug will cost 5,400 rupees. The recommended dose for adults and pediatric patients is 200 mg on day 1, followed by once daily maintenance doses of 100 mg for 5 days. The next batch will be shipped to Kolkata, Indore, Bhopal, Lucknow, Patna, Bhubaneswar, Ranchi, Vijayawada, Kochi, Trivandrum and Goa. And it will be given only through hospitals and government and not via retail. According to doctors, the drug is crucial in the treatment of corona patients, but will not be given to liver disease, kidney failure, pregnant or lactating women, and children below 12 years.
Remdesivir has been approved for restricted emergency use in India. It's a broad-spectrum antiviral drug and is being used in COVID-19 positive patients who have moderate to severe disease. Since we don't have any specific treatment against COVID-19, this drug will help us to reduce the risk of progression from moderate to severe disease.
Hetero has a target to produce 1 lakh vials of Covifor in the next 3 to 4 weeks.
Remdesivir is not a prophylactic, will not be sold in retail and cannot be bought off the shelf. It can only be administered in a hospital by a doctor. Clinical trials so far have shown that it can reduce hospital stay from 15 to 11 days and can also improve survival rates. That can tremendously ease up pressure on hospital infrastructure at a time when the COVID numbers are increasing. In Hyderabad with camera person Nagaraju, Uma Sudhir, NDTV.
So what sort of hope does the generic brand of remdesivir give to lakhs of patients in India, and does more need to be done to ensure that blood plasma is available? Joining us now, Dr. Hemant Deshmukh, the Dean of the King Edward Medical Hospital in Mumbai. We're also joined by Dr. Rakesh Verma, the Additional Director General of Health Services of the DGHS in the government, and Dr. Ramakant Panda, who's the Vice Chancellor and MD of Asian Health Institute. I'd like to thank all of you very much for joining us. Dr. Deshmukh, let me come to you first. What exactly is the situation as far as remdesivir is concerned, and the generic brand? When is it something which could be very useful?
Now, this generic brand, which is called as remdesivir, you have to really understand that this is an intravenous drug. When I mean it is intravenous, it needs to be given only to moderately severe patients of COVID-19, and that too in a hospital-based practice. This drug cannot be given at home, and the whole idea of giving remdesivir is to reduce the viral load drastically from a very high level to a very low level, wherein the viral load is effective in transmission.
All right, we've lost that line with Dr. Deshmukh. Let me go across to Dr. Panda and keep asking you a little bit more about this. What hope does this Covifor, the generic brand of remdesivir, bring for patients in India?
So you have to understand that there is no specific drug for COVID. Now we are using the existing drugs because developing a new drug will take years and there's a lot of side effects. So each of these drugs are going to add little bit extra to the treatment of COVID-19, and over time slowly it is going to reduce the mortality. Remdesivir again is only indicated in patients, as Dr. Deshmukh said, in very severe disease, moderate to severe, who are already on a ventilator or very severe patients. And it has shown to improve the hospital stay. It has not shown to improve the survival. So two other drugs which also have been introduced recently, if you know that favipiravir introduced recently for mild to moderate disease. Another one we showed that steroids, especially those where there is a severe reaction in the body, a lot of patients are dying not because of virus but because of the reaction. But a simple drug like steroid, dexamethasone, hardly costs few rupees in India, has cut down the mortality by 25%. So what we are looking at is there will be no magic drug. We have to develop all the existing drugs. We have to start seeing which of the drugs can be effective here. And each of them are going to add little bit to the cure. So overall, when you add up everything, it's going to make a significant difference.
Dr. Verma, how important is it at this stage to ensure that this drug is distributed speedily across the country? Are you optimistic that that can happen, that there shouldn't be a situation where the drug is available in a few states and it's not available in the rest of the country where it's needed?
Vishnu Sahab, 2 points which I want to emphasize through your channel to public at large and doctor friends across the country, that 90% patients of COVID infection do not require hospitalization. They require a diagnosis, they require a care and treatment by an able physician, but only about 8 to 10% patients will require hospitalization. Out of those 8 to 10% patients also, only about 10% patients or 15% patients will require more intensive treatment. So please do not have that impression that we have found a golden bullet. It is too far away.
No, Dr. Verma, I know that there is no bullet, but while you talk in terms of percentages, I think it's time that we finally need to look at the fact that's staring us in the face. India is today at 4,79,102 cases, Maharashtra at 1,42,900 cases. Yes, recovery rates are high, the fatality rate is low, but the absolute numbers are very, very high, sir.
Those numbers will be combated by a potent, effective vaccine, not by this. Those numbers would not be reduced by this alone. For prevention of a disease, for non-occurrence of a disease, for non-infection, we require a vaccine. But that vaccine alone will reduce the numbers.
We know this, doctor. We know that this is not a cure.
So now
this is not a cure. A cure, if it is available, might come sometime in the middle of next year. But I think the discourse needs to change now, sir, to one where we look at percentages and say only a very small percentage end up being fatal, to looking at the situation with drugs and drug availability in hospitals and the sense of hope something like this might actually bring. So I ask you, Dr. Verma, that question again. Do you believe that this drug will be delivered across the country in a speedy way? Yes, it's not a cure, but it brings hope and it is a line of treatment.
It will be a line of treatment. Wherever this is required, the drug will be available. Wherever it is needed, it will be available. Before we in the country started manufacturing it, it was being imported and being given to the patient as and when required. So that was not a handicap. Only thing, the cost was a handicap. Now the cost will come down substantially. But at the same time, wherever it is required, whomsoever requires it, obviously through a hospital or government setup, it will be available within the next 10 days or 15 days.
Okay, that's what I was asking you, sir, and that's very reassuring. In 15 days, across India, wherever it is required, it will be available.
Yes.
Dr. Verma, let me also just quickly go across to Dr. Deshmukh. Dr. Deshmukh, the other line of treatment, and again, I want to stress over here that doctors will say that it's not a cure. I'm not suggesting it is, but it's the availability of plasma. It gives hope. We face a terrible situation in this country where blood plasma is not available for those who are severely infected with COVID and need it. Shouldn't more be done to establish these blood banks to make sure it is available wherever it is needed?
Yes, the whole idea about giving plasma is to develop immunity against the disease. And what we have found, at least in KEM hospital, that whosoever gets cured of COVID-19 is actually told to give plasma or donate plasma to patients who can be cured of COVID-19.
But 90% of cases in Bombay don't give, sir.
Yeah, I think it is more than 90%. It is almost nearing 99%.
And why do they not give? Because it's a small process. It shouldn't be complicated.
Yeah, it is complicated in the sense that these patients who are cured of COVID-19, are very reluctant to come to a hospital again wherein other COVID patients are admitted. Though we keep a lot of secrecy and give a lot of confidential information to these donors, they are still reluctant to come forward. The only donors that come forward are healthcare workers, the resident doctors, the faculty, and whosoever is really understanding the logic behind giving plasma or donating plasma are the ones who are donating plasma.
Dr. Panda, isn't it also a problem that you've got plasma collection centers in just a handful of hospitals in our big cities? At least that was the case till a few days back, that other hospitals can't collect plasma because they're not authorized to do that. So if there is a patient who needs plasma, it has to come from a donor who gives it to another hospital first. Isn't that a problem?
See, again, one is the distribution and getting availability of the plasma, one is the effectiveness. We also understand that every patient who gets infection doesn't develop antibody in the body, because you need those certain level of antibody and the quality of antibody. These two are very important. All over the world, it has been established that every patient who gets infection doesn't develop the level of antibody that you need in the plasma to help another patient. So very, very important that we have to check that also. The level of antibody, those things are getting established. Now, Nagpur, they are doing a very large randomized trial. There are around 500 patients. They are doing one of the largest in the world to find out how effective. Not only we have to see whether it's effective or not. Number two, also we have to see also what is the level of antibody you need in the donor plasma. Those things are very important. You have to also should not forget that plasma also has certain side effects. One is allergic reaction, damage to the lungs. These patients already have damage to the lungs. So plasma can cause that. And also other transmissible diseases like your hepatitis or HIV. So plasma itself is not safe. Now it has to be given only when it's proven that beyond doubt that is helpful.
Absolutely, sir. It's just a question of plasma banks not being sufficient. Why should we be in this situation now when people who are prescribed plasma by doctors, they don't prescribe it to everybody, run helter-skelter around the city where there is no government initiative to set up a proper plasma facility which is easily accessible? You know, there are cases of people who are willing to actually give plasma, who go to a hospital which is a collection center, but that collection center says, sorry, if this is meant for a patient in another hospital, then we cannot take it over here because there is no protocol for us to take it but to give it to another hospital, and a patient ends up dying. Is this fair, sir? Is this correct?
As Dr. Deshmukh said, it's not the question of centers not doing. As he said, there's a tremendous reluctance to get people who have already recovered to give plasma. See, the supply is a big problem. It's not a question of any blood bank which a facility can do it. But two things you have to establish is whether the person has adequate antibody in the plasma to give it, otherwise it will not be beneficial. Number two, we have to see also, yes, go ahead.
So lots of important points over there, but I take the point that all of you gentlemen are basically saying that neither remdesivir or plasma are cures. We're not suggesting that. But it's a line of treatment one hopes is easily available. And I think that's a simple point given the numbers of COVID in this country. I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us.